Welcome in, everybody. It is the Bizman here, and I'm excited to go ahead and bring you a preview of the tool that I've been developing. Should be done within the next 2 weeks, if not a lot sooner, I'm hoping. But I do like to under promise, over deliver. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what is in store for the internet here very soon. Alright, finally guys, I've made quite a bit of headway on my project here. So what we have is the RAM balance tool, and I went ahead and made this because one of my biggest struggles, both while I was on the road as well as doing side hustles, was keeping track of my expenses, and that is exactly what I made this tool in mind for. So I'm going to try to do my best to talk about trucking and side hustling separate, right? Because there are some overlapping information, of course, but not all the time do they go together. So the first page that we have in the tool, oh, and by the way, this is going to be on Android and iOS. They're not quite there yet, but it will also be online for a website for right now. And it is free to use currently. All this kind of information is not something that I store, but it is something that you can go ahead and generate and keep. Fairly soon, in the next couple of weeks, I will definitely have kind of a paid structure membership where if you want the information to be stored, so that way you can log in and make updates and things like that, you can go ahead and do that. But if you just wanted the free version so that way you can just, I don't know, use any tool that you have to go ahead and write down, whether that be the old pencil and paper, or if you have it in your own Excel spreadsheet, etc., however you're tracking, this will just help you go ahead and make kind of a clean version. At the end of the day, your accountant is going to be the most appreciative, whether that be yourself or a company that you're hiring, to go ahead and look at your documents. So, having said that, let's go ahead and start off. So, when you first come to the website, you're going to be greeted with the dashboard. In the dashboard, you're going to see, of course, the month and year. You'll be able to go ahead and do a selection of which ones, so that way, if you do have to update this information or do a printout, you're able to go ahead and recall it fairly quickly. But in here is just like your basic information, right? If you're a driver for Uber or Lyft or really any app, and you're dealing with customers where you're doing a delivery service, this doesn't too much apply to you, right? Because that has to do more with the day. But if you're doing something on the side, like notaries, for instance, is what I'm doing, I will go ahead and enter in my customer's information. The system is going to automatically assign a job number so it can go ahead and store and recall the information later. This is the part that I am working on. It will come more useful when you sign up, and you're building a customer base and logs and all that kind of stuff. So in here, you're able to go ahead and track income that your company has brought in, the expenses, net, and how many miles. So for me, let's use Notary as an example. I'll just go ahead and set this up here, and let's try this. Okay, so I went ahead and got this set up, and this is my initial customer information. Um, let's say I went ahead and did a test run, um, and let's say I did the notary today. Well, I charged the customer $15 to go ahead and do the notary, and let's just save it at 15, right? So I did $15. I didn't have any customers that needed, well, this customer in particular did not need a notary. Or I'm sorry, didn't need a witness. I did mark that they went ahead and paid it already. So now I'm saving the job and I'm saving the customer's information. If I have any receipts that I need to go ahead and upload or any documents, then I can go ahead and select this and upload a copy of the receipt for what I had to go ahead and purchase. Maybe that be pens, pencils, notary ink, whatever it may be. I can go ahead and upload a copy of the receipt and then it will go ahead and store it, and then that way you have that as proof when you go ahead and file your taxes. Now for notaries or any other company type of stuff where you want to take a picture of the original document before you do the notary in this example, you can take a screenshot of it or a picture, upload it into here. Now, later on, once you do the paid subscription and this information gets stored, that is, like I said, when this becomes more useful. But for this example right now, we're not going to go ahead and use those. But I did go ahead and save my customer. So now we can see here that I made $15 and that I netted $15. If I needed to later on report expenses, what's going to happen is when we go to other screens, it's going to go ahead and keep track of expenses that I've had. Now, in here, if I need to go ahead and recall the data at all, like later on, if we do a subscription and I needed to go ahead and get the documents that I just uploaded for some reason or make any changes, this would be the area where you go ahead and do that. Customers, here we go. So I have a couple of tests that I've created. So as you can see, when we went into the dashboard and we saved the customer job, and the customer information, at a quick glance, I will be able to go ahead and see the list of my customers in case if for any reason I needed to go ahead and get a hold of them, make any contact, any reason. You're able to go ahead and pull up the data here. A customer is assigned, a customer ID, I should say, is assigned to them so that you have a certain number. You are able to go ahead and, let's say if I have an extra customer slot that's filled or a duplicate for any reason, I am able to go ahead and just delete, and it deletes out, and keeping the customer that is here. So that is what we have in here. Any types of jobs that I needed to go ahead and add that I didn't quite do on the dashboard, I am able to go ahead and hit add job, and then that'll go ahead and pull up a form where you can go ahead and fill out anything that you missed. Then on this screen, the reporting screen, of course, we have your job listings again. We have any expenses, right? So let's say I had a $5 charge because I needed to go to Office Max and get pens. Save expense. So now we have the saved expense. It may not be working quite yet just because I have to do some more server tie-ins, but in theory it will show up in my dashboard. Actually, it did go ahead and save it, so that's good. So now it's going to go ahead and keep track of my income, how much I've made, my expenses, and of course 15 minus 5 is going to be $10. So I net $10 from that. That's important to know because you want to know how much your jobs are costing you to stay in business. Just having nobody really truly likes looking at the numbers aspect. That is the most boring part of the job for most people. Um, but knowledge is power. So yeah, so we have that in the reporting. Same situation. If you needed to go ahead and delete that, you can delete it. That is removed. And that is where we need to go ahead and tie in. Let's see here. Oh, I delete my mistake. I deleted the income. That's why it's -5. But yes, that is the cleanup, and that is why I'm not quite yet ready to release this. I am just merely showing the preview. But this is going to have an actual delete because I don't want to make it so that you have to clear out everything if you just need to go ahead and delete one. That is a quick update that I can go ahead and patch. Profit and loss. All right. For you truck drivers, for anybody in logistics or any business ever, this is a huge pain. But it's necessary. Usually, if you want to go ahead and take out a loan or you need to file taxes, blah, 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 you're going to get asked for your P&L, also known as profit and loss. All right. So in here, this is huge. Your information carries over from the other screens, of course, so that way, if there's any mistakes, the system will go ahead and correct. Well, not correct. It'll just point out that the numbers are off, and you need to go ahead and get that fixed. Because in accounting, the goal is for the books to show zero. You have X amount of costs and you owe X amount of costs, and all that is now zeroed out because you've paid it, or if you go in the negatives, then you know that you're in the negatives. Anyways, for the profit and loss, we have the month column, and then you're able to go ahead and select what year you're going to be in. So, under here is your basic expenses. You can just go ahead and type those in. If you need to go ahead and reset, because if you, let's say for instance, you don't want to do the paid subscription, that is quite all right. But it just, the data won't be stored for later recall, but that's okay because we've got some options for those who don't want to pay, which is completely fine. But so you'd fill out this form, and then afterwards you can go ahead and view a PDF. That'll give you kind of a breakdown, and then you can also go ahead and upload this directly into an Excel spreadsheet, and then you can also print your PDF as well. So that is your profit and loss, and later in other videos we'll talk about profit and loss on a more in-depth level. But this is what I'm excited for, especially the export this information into an Excel spreadsheet or Google Sheets, however you go ahead and use that type of stuff. It can go ahead and upload into those two. And then you're able to go ahead and track this on your own system, your own computer. You don't need to pay for a subscription. Yeah, that's what I like, the transparency personally. And really, I don't feel like you should be punished by not wanting to pay for a subscription. It is definitely going to be a lot more useful. And in here, that is where you can add customized lines and stuff like that. You can also go ahead and add a row in there. It depends how you like to look at your expenses. You definitely have options. I'm sorry, not expenses, your P&L. Okay, now this is also a work in progress. So that's why this video is just kind of like an update and a preview to what we're looking at. In the trucking, so this is for you guys doing the hauls. This is going to be an expense calculator to go ahead and figure out what your true cents per mile is. If you're paid by the load, and let's say you get a $10,000 load, well, in this calculator, you're going to kind of be able to loosely figure out how much fuel is going to cost you, or not how much fuel is going to cost you, but after fuel expenses, after load locks, lumpers, all that kind of stuff, what are you getting? And the reason why this is going to be kind of huge is because sometimes you look at these loads on a load board and you don't really think, okay, you may think to yourself, well, I'm getting paid, I don't know, do some crazy easy number. Let's say $5 a load, right? And that load sounds sweet, but oh my gosh, I'm gonna have these lumper fees that are not reimbursed. I'm gonna have this deadhead, all these types of things. This calculator, once it's complete, is going to show you how much they're saying you're going to make, how much that boils down to, what the costs are going to be. This is going to be key. Then we have our load entry. This is where you're basically going to just put in basic information about the load, like when you're picking up, the customer that you're picking up from, or the broker, if you want to go ahead and put in that information. There's going to be a lot more here. This is just what I have in this model thus far. Okay. Now, kind of coming back a little bit to your side hustle guys, Uber, Lyft, all those kind of guys. Let's say you need an invoice. This system is going to allow you to go ahead and make an invoice, as well as, and it'll be a generic invoice where you can input your own information, anything that fits. Right? I get that Uber and Lyft people, when you're doing Uber and Lyft, you don't need this. If you develop a relationship with customers somehow and you're doing stuff for them on the side, I'm not saying to do that or not to do that. I don't know their other companies' terms of service. I'm sure they don't like that. But let's say if you decide that you're going to be doing your own privatized, taking people to airports or do whatever it is that you want to do. Again, I am not giving legal advice and I'm not giving any advice. I'm giving an example, and that is it. If you needed to go ahead and put in the type of job, anything like that, you would be able to go ahead and generate an invoice, and we'll go ahead and get this as a PDF. I don't really have anything to show quite yet. Let's see. Yeah, I don't have anything yet to show on this, but once you go ahead and put in some information, it'll put your company's name, your email, company phone number, a message that you want to go ahead and put onto the invoice. Go ahead and view it, print it, save it. If we do the paid subscription, it will go ahead and email the form directly to your customer so that way it's good and done. And then also too, what it is going to do is take this customer information and go ahead and add that into the invoice. So a lot of it's pre-filled. You'll save a copy. It'll save a copy of the invoice. If you don't have the paid subscription, that is okay. But then what's going to happen is it'll show you a PDF version, so that way you can save it on your own system and have it. All right. Mileage calculator and GPS. Guys, this is pretty big too. Really for trucking, but also too for Uber, Lyft, all you guys. What do I mean by that? In the app, once you go ahead and download it, the paid subscription that is, you'll be able to start tracking your miles from the time you start to the time you finish. Now, why does this matter? Drivers, truckers, you guys, you kind of loosely know your miles, right? But if you have to deviate, at least this tells you how long you deviated. That way, when you go back and track what your earnings actually netted you, this is going to take that into account. Whereas before, you could only kind of roughly guess, or you had to track it the old-fashioned way, etc. However you're doing it. The goal of this is to do it have the system do it for you. Um, Uber, Lyft, all you guys, um, track your miles, right? I know when I did Uber and Lyft, a lot of times what I would do is I would drop people off, and sometimes if I didn't like the area, I would go ahead and sign myself out and go ahead and drive to the area that I do like. Hopefully, it was close by. Whether that be for profit, safety, whatever your reasons are, it doesn't really matter. What does matter is that you track those miles. And the reason why this is going to come in handy is because if you're finding that you are driving way too much and you need to make changes, that is where this is going to come in handy, because you are going to be able to not only um, Lyft, Uber, those guys, they send you how many miles you did, but they send you how many miles you did online. If you take yourself offline, well, it won't track it probably, more than likely, unless if they make an update. The reason why I'm saying that is because as of now they don't have that, but um, maybe they do later on in the future. This is key. But at any rate, guys, I'm really excited for this. I've got some more work to do on it, as you can see. This is kind of like that loose version that's letting you go. In the description down below, I will have my URL link for the website, and that is going to be posted there so that way you can see it. And hopefully, we'll get the free version up here shortly. So, guys, thank you for checking in. I appreciate time, patience, understanding. Of course, if you have any feedback, I always welcome it. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. I really want to get this going so that way when we do launch the site, it's got more people knowing about it than not. So thank you, and stay safe. Keep the rubber side down, and we'll see you next time.